Audio Jungle. Audio Jungle.
Sports, cricket by staff reporter with former President Robert Mugabe out of office, Jonathan Liew argues the time for acceptable non-compliance is over and England should resume tours of Zimbabwe. In her statement reacting to the resignation of Robert Mugabe, British Prime Minister Theresa May referred to Britain as Zimbabwe's oldest friend, an interesting choice of words, really, considering how few friendships are founded on the basis of white supremacy, land theft, mineral plunder and a century of colonial rule. In another sense, however, it rather encapsulated this country's complex relationship with its former vassal state, the problem lovechild that it could never completely embrace, and never completely spurn. And perhaps nowhere has that dynamic been more vividly evident than in cricket. For most of the quarter-century since their admission to the Test world, a move that England was the only full member not to support, Zimbabwe have been the third rail of English cricket, an issue that at various points has been dodged, fudged, confronted and of late simply ignored, like a twitching corpse in the street. It seems remarkable that Michael Atherton's side of 1996-97 remains the last England team to play Test cricket in the country, a drawn-to-match affair perhaps best known for David Lloyd's assertion that we flippin' murdered him. Three years later, Zimbabwe toured England, very nearly scraping a series-leveling win at Trent Bridge. And with their golden generation of Heath Streak, Murray Goodwin and the Flower brothers approaching their peak, it could have been the start of one of the great Test cricketing rivalries. But instead, politics took over. England's refusal to play in Harare at the 2003 World Cup, followed by the fraught limited overs tour of 2004, marked the beginning of the end of the relationship. Under Gordon Brown's premiership, British attitudes towards Mugabe began to harden. An honorary knighthood was withdrawn in 2008. That same year, a tour of England was cancelled at the request of the British government. Meanwhile, Zimbabwean cricket, penniless and denuded by player exodus, withered on the vine. Acceptable non-compliance, as ECB Chief Executive David Collier put it, became English cricket's default stance. And so it has remained ever since, even as the country's fortunes have improved in recent years. The rest of the cricketing world moved on from Mugabe long ago. By the time Australia visit next summer, every single Test nation, including Afghanistan and Ireland, will have toured or hosted Zimbabwe in the last 3 years. Every nation except one. For England, and England alone, Zimbabwe remains untouchable.